and welcome to Life Less Ordinary. It is the first day of August, and for homesteaders, gardeners, backyard gardeners, that means we can start our seedlings. We can start germinating seeds indoors where it's warm, but it means we're starting to work towards producing food again after having a bit of a break over winter. And for us, we have had quite a significant break, but we're getting started today, 1st of August. So what I'm doing here, let me just show you. What I'm doing here is I've got a set up here, and hopefully the weather will hold out on me long enough for me to get things going. Otherwise, I do have the option of moving things undercover. But we have our son and daughter-in-law and family staying, so we have dogs, we have all the Lego is out, so to me it's at the moment it will work better if I do it out here. So that's what I've got it set up. So what I have here is a table, which is where I'm going to use that as my working bench, and then what I have are three bins. On a larger scale, you could use old baths if you're working on a much bigger scale, but for the moment, this is what we've got. 1, 2, 3 boxes of some kind, and one is going to have compost, one is going to have the coir that I am making up, and then the third one will be our using our compost our potting mix, our seed raising mix. So we'll be mixing from the other two into the third container. That's how I've learnt to do it, and that's what I'm going to do. So the mix that I do for seed raising mix and for a garden mix is 2 parts of the coir, 2 parts of perlite. Now, if you've never seen perlite, you can get it in this size. You can get it in massive bags from some of the bigger online garden places. But perlite is a neutral volcanic rock that absorbs moisture, so it keeps the soil moist. It's just helpful to go in the mix, and then later when you're doing seed raising, just to sprinkle over the top. To provide a bit of protection from the top so that the moisture doesn't escape. So 2 parts of the coir, 2 parts of the perlite, and then 3 parts of compost. That will all go into the third box or container, mixed through with, on those ratios, 125 mils of blood and bone. Okay, too much blood and bone, and I think we've found that you end up with a lot of mossy, it just changes the pH too much. So I'd probably err on the side of less than more of the blood and bone, but for us, for our purpose, 125 mils of, so that's 1/4 of a cup of blood and bone into that mix of 2 coir, 2 perlite, 3 compost, and then 125 mils of the blood and bone. That's the mix that we will be doing for our seed raising mix and for our garden mix. So that's the mix itself. I would say also clean things before you do any working with it, working with the soil, and working with making up either soil blocks or planting things into pots or little seed raising trays. You don't know what microbes and bad things have remained in your containers from the previous year, so clean them before you start. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. I've just got a mix of, I have a homemade thing of vinegar and water and rosemary and a bit of lemon as well. So I've just mixed that in with water to clean these, and I'm in the process of cleaning these trays and those trays as well, so that I'm starting afresh, and you're not starting out with possible germs and microbes that are going to stunt growth or mean that you don't have any growth of your plants at all. We have for a number of years done both soil blocks and using seed trays, so the little rectangular ones and the smaller ones as well. I'm trying to steer away from using too much plastic, so soil blocks works for us. There's no disturbing of the soil. Once you've done it once, you know what you're doing, and it's easy to do. And I really like this. I got this one off Amazon, I think, for maybe about $30 a few years ago. Keep it out of the weather, but it still works perfectly fine. So it's a good investment, a soil blocker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get going on cleaning these up so that that's all done and they can dry a little bit in what sun we have, before I then start making up my mixes in these containers. And then we can get started on planting the seeds. So I'll get going on this, and it's so exciting. Okay, so I have cleaned each of the trays that I'm going to be putting the soil blocks into, and I'm just going to start by putting compost in this one. And actually what I might do is I'll start with the coir, because that takes a while to absorb. I'm not going to be able to fit all of that. That actually will fit a whole wheelbarrow once it's made up. So it makes 90 litres. I don't think that's like 90 litres. So I'll just do half of the coir block, put the other part half aside, make the first half up in there. And because potting mix, gardens mix, it's a bit hit and miss about what's actually good. I like to mix a few things together. So Curly's compost is quite good. It has turkey, cow and stable manure. I find that actually quite good, but the growing mix as well. This isn't the best for growing mix or potting mix. I actually really like Tim's garden centre. He's in Campbelltown, Lumia, but I'm not anywhere near Campbelltown and haven't been for a little while, so I'm going with what is kind of next best. So I'm going to mix one bag of each of these into here and just give it a good mix so that we have it's quite well mixed. So ideally we would like to not have to get inputs from outside of the property. Over there we have 3 compost bays. We're in the process of thinking through redoing that, because we've had it for probably 5 or 6 years, so it's starting to come apart. But at the moment we're not quite producing enough compost for our own purposes here on this property, but that's ideally long term, that's where we'd like to get. So we have chickens that mix up wood chip and food scraps and whatever else. And after a number of months of being on deep bedding, we end up with some good compost from that. So we are working towards not having to buy in, but at the moment this is what we're using. And the other thing I would say, when it comes to, I kind of alluded to it earlier when I was talking about using soil blocks. In the past we have used seed trays, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that if that's all you have. Once you start doing it for a while, and you realize just how much plastic you're using, you kind of get to that stage of thinking, how can I do this better? So even these trays that we've got here, when we have a bit more time, I'd like to make up some wooden trays that are 3-sided that I can do the soil blocks in, and do, I'm going to say the name wrong, so there's a Japanese wood burning thing. I'm going to say Sanshi Bao, but I know that's not right. I'll write what it is in the description. It's a Japanese wood burning, just for the outside of wood, that actually allows that wood to not break down for a very long period of time. You're talking 50 years or something or other. So it's just, you know, as you get into gardening and get further along in your journey, you pick up things and you find other ways to do things that aren't necessarily what you might have started with. So don't feel bad if all you can use is plastic and buy in your soil. It's a learning process. It is just starting to sprinkle, but I really do want to get this mixed so that I can start making up the soil blocks, because I can do that part underneath, because this is all in this and it's quite heavy. I'm not going to be able to move it right now. So what I'm going to do is 3 parts. So choose your receptacle that you're going to use. 3 parts. So 1, 2, 3 of the compost. And then 2 of the coir. So 1, 2, and I'll get the perlite, which is over here. Try not to trip over all the tools, trying not to get too wet. 2 of the perlite. 1. 2. So I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'm just going to mix that together, and I'll get the blood and bone and mix that through. Now, because this is really not a huge, my beginning container isn't that big, I'll probably only do like 1/8 of a cup, or even, yeah, 1/8 of a cup of the blood and bone. I don't think I need the full 125 mils or a 1/4 of a cup, but this is essentially what I'm wanting it to look like. Okay, so that's just one lot of it. I want to probably get it filled to about here before I'm going to start my soil blocking. This will need to be a little bit wetter for the soil blocking. And in order to do the soil block, I need to put it through the sieve to get out those bigger bits. So things like the perlite will go through, the coir will go through, the actual soil will go through, but like I said, those sticks won't, and that's what we want out when we're doing seed raising mix. So that gives you an idea of one method, my method, which I actually I got to, I guess for want of a better word, got to intern with Melanie and April at the Brickworks farm at Mittagong. We got to help out a number of times out there with their helping them to get their seeds going and into pots and seedling trays and things like that. So look out for in your community if there's other people who are doing things on a bigger scale that you might actually be able to help out for a day, just to get a bit of experience and learn how other people do it and how they do it successfully. So Brickworks Farm sells seedlings that are grown here in the Highlands, and they work really hard at it, and they're really good value, and that's what I relied on last year because I wasn't around last season. That's why I wasn't around, because I was helping to look after Mum. So somewhere like that, and knowing who's in your community who have those sorts of products that are locally grown, and you know the people and you know the seedlings, and yeah, it's good to have that and them as a resource to pick their brain. So look out for what's in your community, and make your own soil potting and seed raising mix. So I have made up, see if I can tip that on its side, and you can see I've made up the amount of mix that I want. I've got my blood and bone here. This is an 83 ml cup, so this ended up being 4 lots of my ratios, 4 times through. So I'm just going to get a third of it. This is a third of a cup. So I'm probably going to do 1.5 of those. So like I said, I would err on the side of caution with this, yeah, put less as opposed to more. Mix that through, and then we're good to go. I will say, because I've got this sitting here, I don't want it exposed too much, so the coir will dry out, particularly if it's a sunny day. So finding something like a lid for something that I can put over the top, just to provide protection while I'm not using it. We are good to go in terms of a mix. All I need to do now for making up my seed raising soil blocks is to run this through a sieve, and then make up my soil blocks. So there you go. Make your own potting mix, make your own seed raising mix. It's not that hard. You know what's gone into it, you've done the hard work, and hopefully in spring, or anytime really, you will get the growth that you want in your seeds, seedlings and plants, and ultimately flowers and food. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful. I'll continue the video in another video, but hopefully this has been helpful, and given you an idea of how you can actually do this on a small scale at home, and if you want it on a bigger scale, bigger containers. Anyway, thanks for joining us in our Life Less Ordinary.